You read the title, let's jump right into it with a few things about your hero deck. It should always be full because the hero XP is duplicated across all of your heroes. You can also hot swap between your heroes during the build phase of any game, and also during the build phase you can swap heroes in and out of your deck just like you would in the Tavern, so you're never stuck with the hero deck you had when you left the Tavern and jumped into a game. You can always change it up. Also, from that swap menu, you can rename and customize the appearance of your heroes. You can change their skins and colors. Just make sure you hit confirm when you're done making your changes. It's a good idea to change the appearance of your heroes if you're running multiples of the same type. For instance, I have a Trap Huntress and a DPS Huntress. I want them to look different so that I'm not mistakenly on one when I mean to be on the other when I start a wave. As your heroes level up, you'll get what's called Rune.Power, which are basically stat points that you can change in and out of any stat as you please on the fly, and you should definitely take advantage of this if maybe you notice in the middle of a build you'd prefer one thing over another. For instance, if I'm running in with my apprentice and I decide I want to run a lot of Flame Burst towers, I can just take some points out of power, throw them into defense rate because I want more defense rate for flame bursts, or say maybe I want some more range on my auras. I can take some points out of some other stats, throw it in my range. Now my auras are bigger. Absolutely take advantage of the fact that you can do this to cater your stats to your specific build. Upgrades on your armor, however, are permanent, so once you hit the upgrade button, add some points, and then spend the money, that's it. You can't change those points now. Just keep this in mind as you're building out your armor. If you make a mistake, don't sweat it. Gold is pretty easy to come by and you'll get tons and tons of armor. Just know that these points are permanent. Your defenses do 33% more damage if you're active on the hero that built them during the combat phase. This is known as the active builder bonus, and it's definitely something you should take advantage of early on, but in Nightmare and beyond it will serve you better to have a well-equipped DPS hero. It's much more useful to be able to put the damage wherever you want it, whenever you want it. That said, this is always something you should keep in mind. Sometimes running an active hero to get the active builder bonus is enough to get through a map. It's definitely something that you should take advantage of. If enemies get stuck or you die during a Nightmare Hardcore survival and only spiders are left, a timer is active and they will despawn eventually. You can get stuck ogres or other enemies moving again by placing a defense near them that they can hit like a tower or wall. Defenses can be placed and sold for a full refund during the build phase, so don't worry about wasting mana if you need to move or change something. Feel free to experiment all you like. Movement speed, hard caps at 100 agility. There is literally no benefit beyond 100. I wouldn't bother leveling it at all. You'll get plenty of it from your gear. As you level up your heroes and you get to use better and better armor, it may be a good idea to keep some of the older sets. For instance, once my apprentice hit 78, I upgraded his armor because that's another armor cap, level cap that you can use new armor at, but I used his level 70 armor on my builder squire because they prioritize the same stats. So the armor that my apprentice was wearing from level 70 to 77, my harpoon squire is now wearing. The same goes for my DPS huntress. She's wearing armor that's level 83 and 90 plus right now, but I took the armor that she had from level 70 and I put it on my newer DPS squire. It's a lot easier to keep and reuse some of your old, fully upgraded armor sets than it would be to, say, go out and farm level 70 and 78 armor for your newer characters. Hero leveling soft caps at levels 70, 78, 83, and 90. Expect leveling up to get slower at each of these points. After you beat the campaign for the first time, a secret room becomes available to you. It's right behind this door in the tavern. I'm not going to go in and reveal it. I'll let you do that for yourself. If you didn't know about it, go in and check it out. XP progress into your current level is shown in the top left of your screen, but it's also shown as a percentage under the general section of your stats here. All towers that shoot projectiles get a slight range bonus as you level them up on the field, but something unique to the Magic Missile Tower is that between level 1 and level 5, its range doubles. Currently there are 5 different types of armor in the game, with one more on the way. All armor can roll any stat, but each armor type has a single stat that's guaranteed to appear on it. Ancient armor will always roll with skill, guard armor will always roll with vitality, militia armor will always roll with attack, primitive armor will always roll with agility, and minor armor will always roll with power. That said, any stat can roll onto any piece of armor and all of the rolls are RNG. I wouldn't stay away from a certain armor type because it's not guaranteed to roll a specific stat. I have builders that aren't in minor gear, and I have DPS characters that aren't in militia. Use whatever gear you have. If something rolls with great stats, don't be afraid to use it. The damage reduction cap that you can get from your armor is 90%, but because your stats get nerfed in Nightmare and Massacre, you'll need to get your armor stat up to 164% just to mitigate that 90% damage and account for the nerfs. An easy way to always get to 164% when you're leveling up your gear is to put 29% armor on 3 pieces and 30% on the 4th piece. Enabling hardcore mode is a great way to get yourself some more XP and better loot, but there are some consequences. When you die, you won't respawn during the wave, you'll lose all the mana that you had when you die, and when you G up from the build phase to the combat phase, any mana that's still on the field will disappear. Mixed mode is basically survival with slightly better gear but harder waves. The enemy spawns are no longer symmetrical, they don't scale up gradually, and spiders and skeletons can come from the spawn doors. The skeletons need to be killed 3 times before they are actually dead. Be sure to use your auto loot filters to simplify looting at the end of each wave. I generally exclude a rarity tier as soon as I start getting pieces from the tier above it. If you're struggling early on in a new difficulty, stop over at Ancient Mines and run some hardcore survival. This is especially helpful when first making the jump into Nightmare from Insane, as there are new enemy types and nerfs to your stats, so it's a big leap. Stopping to run Ancient Mines and survival hardcore just a few times can help you gear up enough to charge through the rest of the campaign. Finally, here is a short list of hotkeys that you might not know about. Hit the shift key to toggle the range display on your towers, hit the tab key to toggle the overlay map, hold the E key while you're placing a tower to get rid of the tooltip. You can also hold it to bring it back. When you place a tower and you want to change the angle that it's at, you can hold the control key and scroll the mouse wheel to change that without moving your character. You can also use that same function to change the trigger size on your traps and also the size of your auras. Press the M key to drop 5 mana, hold the M key to drop all of your mana, press the middle mouse button to point out a location on the map, and hold the middle mouse button to indicate that you want build mana. And lastly, hold the Alt key and press H to toggle the heads up display on and off. That's all I have for this video. If you made it this far, I'd like you to consider doing 2 things. 1, share this video with a new player if you know someone who's looking to get into the game or someone who just started. Please share this video with them to help them out. Also, if you have any helpful tips or anything that I missed, drop it down in the comments. Alright, that'll do it for me. Thank you so much for watching.